Hello. Don't particularly want to make a video today, but I had something odd with the heart rate and blood pressure, so I figured, why not? Somewhere in the middle of the day, I did not record the time. Obviously, in my log, not very exact. It's just random notes written down. But somewhere in the middle of the day, fairly early still, I recorded a heart rate of 121. I don't believe I was doing much of it. I don't think I did much of anything physical for the entire day. Resting heart rate of 121, with a blood pressure of 141/87. It just seems odd to me. And then just now, I was watching television, and then I stood up and came over here and checked my blood pressure. So not much going on there either. I had a resting heart rate of 109 with a blood pressure of 132/93. Very odd numbers. The diastolic went up, systolic went down, heart rate overall is down. So, I mean, I might have, when I had 121, I might have been like, couldn't have been much physical. Maybe I just recently made food or something. So, it's about as active as I get. And gets me up to a heart rate of 121. It's kind of insane. Really weird. I was talking to some people in the clipophile groups that I'm in, and other people that have bones pressed in their brain. Some do have issues with their heart rate and their blood pressure, which only makes sense because your brainstem controls your heart and basically everything else. So really interesting. All they can really do is drug you up, and doctors don't even want to talk about / don't understand cause and effect even in a general concept way generally. So, I mean, maybe some weird doctor out there does, but if they understood cause and effect too much, they'd probably get their license taken away. And let's see, in other news, well, I mean, the diet's still going well. I haven't checked my weight. I don't check my weight that much, but I think I did a couple of days ago, and it stayed the same for like a day or two, but my body fat percentage had still dropped. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, a little irrelevant too. My problems don't coincide with that very well, but still kind of interesting. And man, I've been extremely depressed over the last couple of days, which I think is just reasonable at this point. It's hard to see much of a future in my future, which is very depressing. So, and I was kind of putting that off by, like, I was stabilizing in the present a little bit, but now I have less money again in the present, and well, I just don't see my future going well. So it's fairly reasonable to be depressed in that type of situation. It would actually be healthy, right? Because it's in line with reality. And then also, I got this recently. I also got a couple other books. Let's see. Writing the Novel from Plot to Print by Lawrence Block, which looks really good. He's a writer. He wrote this. He had written like over 100 novels by the time he wrote this book on writing, and 100 published novels. And it's extremely interesting. He went over at one point right near the beginning. Obviously, just started it. He went over his last year or two of writing. And he like started 6 novels that he didn't finish. He had finished 2 that he couldn't get published, and a bunch of stuff. This is after he had 100 plus published novels. So extremely interesting insights there. And then Aesop's Fables, and this is actually a cheap version of this book, which is cool because it's quite illustrated with nice little illustrations. I like them. They're nice. I think they're a lot better than a lot of the kids ones too that are too childlike. Pretty nice, and Aesop stuff is really cool. I like it. I use the fox and the grapes as an example all the time. And then that brings us back to Fantastic Fables by Ambrose Bierce. And this guy, he's known as having this really sharp wit and wrote the Devil's Dictionary, and I read some of his stuff, but I can't really remember it when I was maybe like 12 or something, not recently at all. And his fables are just they're genius. He was extremely witty, and when I was looking up this book, I looked up a few other things about him. He fought in the Civil War. He wrote a book on Civil War stories, and he had other short stories. Then he wrote all these fables. He wrote the Devil's Dictionary, which are just great definitions of words. Some of them are obsolete, right? We're talking late 1800s here, but let's see, like his definition of politics is private affairs conducted in public for private reasons or something like that. Extremely insightful on so many levels. And I didn't even realize in here at one point he has rewrites. Aesopus Amendatus. He has like a section of rewrites of Aesop's fables in odd versions, his own version, and some rewrites of some other old fables, and then a bunch, I mean like a couple of hundred, that he just made up on his own. Extremely, extremely interesting. Anyways, whoa, my video went crazy. Anyways, that's all for today. Until next time, Jeff out.